Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Can you hear me, Dr. Ali?
Just a minute. There is a
Okay.
small thing I have to deal with. Inshallah, we can.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum,
No,
everyone.
no.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali kulli wa sahbihi kulli ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome to another session. We continue our journey of uncovering, unearthing the Quranic treasure. And as we delve more and reflect on the deep meaning in the Quranic verses, and we appreciate and understand the importance of Quran as the book for the mankind and the book for the believer particularly. And we argue that we live in the month of Quran, but unfortunately we are quite distant from Quran. In terms of understanding its message and bringing to our life. And this program, inshallah, helping us to better understand and appreciate Quran and connect to the Creator through the Quran and the creation. Now, yes, the topic that we're discussing is the categories, how we categorize the Quran as a book. And we mentioned 7 categories, and we are in the 7th one, in which we're looking at a particular ayah to see how the Quran beautifully, wisely, perfectly give us some universal principles on social matters, on economic issue, on justice. So, and one issue obviously is that a lot of vulnerable individuals like orphans, and the Quran mentioned this issue many times. That 23 ayahs in the Quran covers the issue of orphans and invite us to be watchful, to be careful, to be compassionate towards them. Now, this part is very clear, and we discussed yesterday. We said that you don't have to become even Muslims to really take care of the orphans, because it is in the fitrah of human being. When you see vulnerable creatures, a baby or orphan without mom and dads and need help, so you want to help, and that is in a way that builds in characters or trait in human fitrah. And then we said, what is the point? Why the Quran mention again and again, not once, not twice, not 10 times, 23 times? So we said there must be reason behind that. And as we try to understand that, we look at other verses in which that we see the Quran is saying that even if you think you're doing good thing, if you don't see the sign of God in what you do, you're not going to get any reward, and you're going to get punished for that. That was very, interesting one, because most of the time we think like, there are people who are not Muslims, who are not believers, they do the good as well. Why shouldn't they go to Jannah? Why shouldn't they be rewarded for their good thing? And that particular ayah was saying, no, and even if you do the good thing, if you don't really see the sign of God in the good that you do, you're not going to get any reward, you're going to get punishment. Now, why we mention? Because the whole point of being asked to help the orphan is not just a social, let's say, welfare or solidarity, it is essentially is the concept of rububiyyah, is to understand who is the helper, is to understand who is the one with the care and compassion, helping the orphans and helping us. So in a short, we said that basically from the Quranic perspective, we are supposed to experience the attribute of the Creator through our actions as we help a needy person like an orphan, that we're supposed to understand how the most merciful Creator is helping everyone, including this needy person, through us. So if we get this understanding, that experience that we have is going to help us to see the sign of God, to see the attribute of God in that particular action, and to connect to Him and to get to have the consciousness of the Creator. So that's, we said, that is the main point. That's the key outcome that is expected. And for that, you have to have belief. For that, you have to see the sign. For that, you have to have right understanding of who is the helper. And since non-believers do not have that, that we says they cannot be rewarded because they don't do for that purpose. Now, there's some other verses. It gives impression that everyone's going to get reward based on their situation. So we're going to reflect on those as well to see how should we put all those together and understand it. What does it mean? And then we're going to delve even further on the concept of orphan to see how we can drive a universal message from that. What does it really mean to us? And I think if we get it this way, we're going to see this ayah is not about the orphans in a conventional sense. It's about much more than that. But let's see how we're going to, Dr. Ali is going to bring those issues. Let's start, inshallah.
Now, thank you for this summary of yesterday's discussion. Okay, you got the main skeleton of the subject, alhamdulillah. I'm pleased to hear that. But when you are presenting, it reminded me one point that we have to share with our friends here. Not every ayah, verse in the Quran are or is to be treated in the same way. Overall, the Quran is an Hakim book. It means absolute wisdom is manifested in its language, in its message, overall. But there are some verses related to the events happened in the past, and God is telling us this, narrating this to us, and we have to read these sections of the Quran with slightly different methodology. There are some verses directly mentions the heart of belief matters. They have to be treated and understood in another category. Not totally independent from each other, but since our subject is social, economic, and political matters that the Quran deals with, now these verses are very sensitive verses, how to deal with these verses, these ayat. We have to definitely bear in mind that every Sharia rule has two aspects. Methodologically, in order to understand the Quran, this subject is not only important, essential and sensitive. We have to be careful. One side is called in Islamic knowledge, illah. It means the exact reason why this ayah says do this or don't do that. That is will of the Creator. Now, if someone doesn't believe in God, it means nothing for him. But if someone reads the Quran, after believing in God, being convinced about it, first he has to remember, my Creator is asking me to do this, not to do that. While I am performing this action primarily because my God asked me this. But at the same time, the one, God, Allah, Rabbul Alameen, is a wise creator. He's not expected from our perspective. He will order me something with no wisdom. The wisdom side of this ayah looks to the practical fiqh rulings. But that is called hikmah side. In the side, the reason must be understood from belief perspective in God. Which kind of God I am following, and which kind of capacity he has. He is the absolutely wise, absolutely merciful, and absolutely knowledgeable one, without any boundary, time and space-wise. So if we really look at or listen carefully to how we deal with the ayats of the related to the social or Sharia subjects, we are emphasizing on mostly illah side. Which kind of God is asking me, or which kind of qualities that God, the creator, speaker in the Quran, is telling me this. That's why we emphasize when I give to charity, when I help and protect the orphan, I have to remember that this feeling is created by God. Look, we are not looking at the wisdom side of it yet. Now, and my Creator has given me this sense. And my Creator asking me not to use your sense in your name, in my name. I am the owner of your sense. I am the guide for you telling me this to put into practice your senses in the best way. Now, after this step, jurisprudential side, ruling side, Sharia side comes in. It says, how can I organize the rights of orphans in a society? Of course, in a believer society, according to the requirements of the Quran. In non-believers, non-Muslim society, they will do it according to their values. Now, our subject is Muslim society, believer society. So, because it is not our subject to deal with fiqh matters, how can I distribute the property of orphan? It is not our subject, and especially as far as I am concerned, there must be some people expert on it. As far as I am concerned, I am not expert on fiqh. So not expert, so I don't want to jump into that subject, which is not my expertise. So illah side is the one which needs to be emphasized. Fiqh side is, if you go to YouTube, you find 1,000 people are ready to teach you fiqh, but iman side is not much popular. That is why we are emphasizing on the Iman side. As far as I am concerned, I see that Iman side of the fiqh matters must be brought up and studied. It is amazing. It is unbelievable. It is not generally practiced. That's one thing. Now, that is why we will, inshallah, emphasize the Iman side of it. But yesterday, we read the ayah from Surah Kahf. Those people who don't take care of orphans in particular, in general, do good deeds, will receive nothing at all. Right? Nothing. So, and in the judgment day, their balance will have no weight for their good deeds. But there are many verses in the Quran which are related mostly to in the context, believers area. And God promises that they will never waste their reward. But there are also some verses which I took here, and I will share it quickly with you. There are also some verses in the Quran without relating the context to the conditions of to be a believer while we are helping the orphans or doing good actions. Now, these words, ayats are here. These are not within the context of believers. It means human condition. Why this? We can talk about it. And why this difference usage of the ayat, saying one says there will be no reward, the other one says there is a reward, a little bit. So in comparison, I am going to read it. If you want to, do you want to say anything, or I am going to read it and
No,
go?
I think please go ahead, read it, because this is really a very important question when we look
Yeah.
at those to see what is the reason behind that.
Yeah. Okay. Among those who don't perform their deeds in the name of God, is there no difference between those who don't good, who do good and who don't, and those who do evil? They are non-believers anyways. Is the question clear?
I think so. I think it's like many people will think there are a lot of good people among non-believers as well. Why should they not be rewarded at all?
Yeah. The one who kills and the one who protects, the downgraded and graded ones. Are they equal? But both of them don't believe in any God, let's say. Here, everybody, I have chosen, especially those ayats that Muslim people are familiar with, so that it will be easy to follow them. Here it is.
فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره فمن ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره.
I think everybody knows this one, inshallah. Every day, at least once, we hear it from our Hafid in the prayers. Now, of course, the context is for everyone, human side. Now, the translation, whoever has done an atom's weight of good will receive the reward of it. But whoever has done an atom's of weight of evil will receive the consequence of their evil deeds. Right? Clear? It means any human being who does good, who does bad, they will have their consequences, or the consequences of their deeds. Clear, isn't it?
Yes.
There is no need to talk more, but we will make the comparison between two ayats. Now, let's go to this ayah. I think everybody is clear about it. There is no need to spend time on it. All right. All right. Okay.
وأن ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى وأن سعيه سوف يرى ثم يجزاه الجزاء الأوفى
Beautiful.
وأن إلى ربك المنتهى.
Yeah. Now, and that each person will only have what they have striving for. Each person, not believers necessarily. Believers and non-believers. And that all consequences of his striving will be evaluated. Understood? Huh? Almost the same message is given as we read in the previous verses. Then, in the end, he will be repaid in full for it. Look, in full, right? Yüzel ceza el evfa. Everything will be paid. Well, the last ayah is very interesting. And that to your Lord alone is the ultimate return. What does it say, this ayah? The last. The previous ones are saying everybody will be rewarded according to what they do, but Iman is not the subject here. It means every human being. Now, the ones who are getting or doing the good deeds in the name of Allah is different from who are doing it in the name of human senses, and also the third category who are doing it in spite of God's will. I am the one who is doing it with a claim. Yesterday, we talked about the ayah who claims that, rejects the prophets, rejects the religion, rejects. Look, not accepting is not rejecting it. For example, my neighbor says, they don't really think seriously, but says they are Christians. Do they have any hatred to Islam? No. But we know there are some people who really hate Islam. Knowingly that I'm not going to allow Muslims to have some sort of opportunities. Now, are they the same? No. Yesterday we discussed this one, rejectors. Today we are discussing ordinary human beings. They don't know. They are grown in a Muslim society. That's why they are Muslims. They are brought up in a Christian society. That's why they say we are Christians. Why? Because we are Christians. Yeah, usually some Muslims also use the same expression, which kind of they call it in America religious tradition. You are following. I was born in a Muslim family. What does it mean? It means as everybody understands that he is a Muslim. Oh, okay, but have you chosen Islam? That's another serious question. So I was born in a Muslim. That is the language used. So, but the last verse is important. Yeah, we know on which conditions rejectors, deniers side is different from not accepting. That's following their tradition. But no, hey, we know that. Huh? We know that some people, I don't want to name it, and especially the particular group of people, hate Muslims, hate Islam. Are they the same? Of course not. But about individuals, this person, does he hate? Does he do this because of his own egotistic satisfaction, or because he is doing it? That's how we have to have a fair society. No? Or have an A peaceful society, equal society, pro-justice. We are against war. People shout here, against war. War is not the solution. Do they hate Islam? No. Do they sympathize Islam to a certain extent? Yes, I know. Uh, these are following human senses, not in spite of obedience God's order, in spite of hate for God's religion. No, just as a human being. But how are we going to treat people? The last verse says, وَأَنَّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ الْمُنْتَهَى, and that to your Lord alone is the ultimate return. He will decide. Don't pass judgment about people. Leave it to God. But take care of your responsibility. Don't say this man is an hypocrite. This man is really doing this just to satisfy himself. This man, no. None of your business. But we have to be careful. Jurist in an Islamic context, jurist, if there is a case, court case, comes, jurist says, are you a Muslim? Muslim. Or which kind of religion you follow, accordingly we will judge, because Islam respects other religions as well, monotheist religions. So I'm a Christian. Okay, I'm going to treat you according to the Christian or Christianity, but originally Jewish laws. They don't have specific laws for that in Christianity. That is another subject. So, okay, I will decide about Torah rules. But does the judge asks, are you hypocrite or not? We cannot do that. No, we cannot ask to say this. Quran really seriously warns us, if you are in conflict with somebody for the benefit of your own egotistic satisfactions, don't say, lesta Musliman. No, lesta mu'min. I got confused. Now, you are not a Muslim. You are not a believer, for example. The Quran is very severe about it. We have to be very careful to avoid from judgments about persons. If we are judge, even if we are a judge in a court, we should be careful. What people say, that's it. Heart, we don't know. That's why Quran mentions a lot about hypocrites, but never mentions a name. And we don't know which people who. So it is in Islamic tradition again, not to call somebody, you are a hypocrite. No, we don't know. Only Allah knows. That is the subject. I think we got this point now. Why some ayat says there is no reward? Why some ayat says, of course, that the ones who do good deeds and bad deeds cannot be equal, right? Done? Shall we pass on?
Yeah. So I think it's clear. So in a way, that's what we're saying is the Quran will say that everyone's gonna get it based on whatever they do. But the point here is you're saying that if those who are openly rejecting their position is different than the other individual. But how about those who are openly rejecting again, but they are doing good things, but they're just rejecting what is presented them as a religion, maybe? Because if you go back to the previous slide, I was reflecting on the last part of the ayah. I was thinking, is it possible to say from the last part that reward might refer to the reward and punishment in this world, but then the other eye we cover is about the hereafter. I don't know, like what is the scholar discussion? Because you see, it talks about everyone gonna get it, their reward fully, and then it says, and that your Lord alone is the ultimate return. So as if like you're gonna get your reward as an unbeliever for your good deeds in dunya, but you did it for the dunya, but in the akhirah, you didn't do for akhirah. There's no reward for you. Is there any understanding on this manner in this way, or I don't? What would be the form of reward they're gonna get it in this case if they're non-believer?
Sorry. وَأَنَّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ الْمُنْتَهَى.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the jaza is not used in this ayah. Jaza has two meaning, double meaning. Reward or punishment. It means compensation, the equal compensation. But muntaha means ultimate point. He's the return. I mean, that's how we have to use. But there is muntaha, the ultimate destination, ultimate point, not jaza here. So there is no way to say that it may be punishing in the hereafter. Of course, God, now we have to know that the one who orders us to do or not to do something is absolute, as far as the subject is concerned, alim, absolute knowledgeable. Hakim, because in his hukum, there is wisdom. In his order, there is wisdom. So we have to remember Hakim. And also we have to remember Rahim, or Rahman and Rahim. Two sides, but it's a great detail. We are not going to get it. What is the difference between Rahim and Rahman? So for the word Rahman, for the Akhirah, Rahim. So he orders this because he's merciful. He is ordering us something which is good for us. But at the same time, he is Adil, just one, absolutely just. But nothing is a grain of weight should not be lost. In this world, in the hereafter, we don't know. There are all infinite layers of knowledge in one subject. For example, somebody says, I am a doctor. Somebody says, I am a doctor. One of them is like me, doesn't understand much. The other one is the expert on it. Both of them are doctors, but there are degrees. No? Somebody knows mathematics at the level of middle school. Somebody knows mathematics at the level of postgraduate. Now, but most of them are mathematicians. So in paradise also, there are endless degrees, as well as in hell, there are endless degrees. That's why some verses are very severe about these obstinate deniers, rejectors, enemies of the prophets, bottom of the ghayy, hell. It means there are degrees. Although ulama agrees on it, that there are degrees. Our scholars agree on it. So let the end result, ultimate return, no, ultimate result, let's change this word. Ultimate result. Oh, belongs to Allah. Leave it. And what are we going to gain by judging people? There will be punished. There will be have a nice life here, but in the hereafter, no. None of your business. Take care of your business. Because why? Am I jealous that somebody may go into have some light punishment, or what am I doing? Am I satisfying myself, or am I taking care of my responsibility? We have to be careful, inshallah. Here we go. I think we have to move. The Quran and the universe are speaking side by side. Now, we are opening up this orphan subject a little bit more deeper, inshallah. Okay, the Quran explains the reality of the universe The universe witnesses the truthfulness of the message of the Quran. We discussed this, right? I don't know whether we need to remember what we read yesterday. Shall we pass to save time?
I think you can just I think we're ready. You can just remind the message there and move on because
No, just if I read the translation only,
I think
then,
that'd be good.
but even we discuss this. Let's not let's save some time, inshallah. But the notes are here. When we understand the difference, we learn that the difference what? Doing it in the name of Allah, doing it in one's own name. Now we are being very light here, huh? Not an obstinate deniers, and also ignorant people don't know what they are doing. In every society, there are majority of the people just follow their culture. So in this context, we are talking now. When we understand the difference, we learn that doing good deeds, thinking you are a good man, protecting the orphans, you are a liar. Now, in general, we are talking. We are lying there. AI companion is on message. I don't know whether it is technical matter.
Yeah, you can ignore it.
Okay, we can. Thank you very much. Doing good deeds, thinking you are a good man, protecting the orphans, you are a liar. You are betraying the truth and stealing the property of your creator. Now, we think that the stealing is only stealing the property, no? That somebody steal your, for example, Dr. Nejati wrote a book and ready to publish. Somebody hacks his computer and gets the book, publishes it in his name. Right? Or it is again a theft. Right? So we have to say that if somebody has given you $100 as a trust, right? And if you deny it and say that this is mine, what happens? You are a liar, you are a theft. Now, somebody makes a very important, let's say, art. Somebody comes and says that this is my art. What? It is stealing. I spoke a lot, I know, but this is the key point. Now, why are we like those people who claim that this feeling is mine, naturally happened? I am a liar. I am stealing the honor of this quality in my creation. And here, betraying the truth and stealing the property of your creator. God created and gave it to you as a free gift. You are saying, this is mine. Oh, it is really a big lie, and at the same time, at least is telling a lie. But to me, an insult to the creator. Now, who you are, I am the owner. Nature is the owner of my feelings. It developed by itself in 13 billion years, or they don't say this, 600 million years. This species developed. Anyway, this is not our subject. Yeah, they speak everything. Now, this is the reason why they are losers, though they think they do good actions, as God explains in these verses. All right?
Yeah, I think that is a very good point. Just want to highlight that because the key part here is It's how you perceive what you possess it, whether that is a faculty of care, compassion, or what is the property of the wealth that you have. As you are, in this case, using this faculty and helping the orphans or the vulnerable. So if you think it's mine, the point here is that you are, first of all, lying and you are stealing, you are thieves. So in that case, that from the Quranic perspective, that you are not a good person doing a good thing is like I'm stealing someone's thing and saying it's mine and go and give it to someone else and say, please, I'm helping you. I'm liar and thief. I should be punished, not rewarded for this deed. That's the reason I think the Quran here is saying that they are not going to be rewarded.
Now, Dr. Najati wrote a book, and somebody has taken one chapter from there and published, this is my knowledge. What do you think? How are they called?
They call it, this is basically intellectual property is stolen.
Stolen, yeah. So if you go to the court and ask this man, they will punish him for stealing. It means your knowledge has been stolen, not your property, physical property. That is essential to understand. Now, Bismillah. What do we understand from the term el-yatama in the context of this verse? No? That we studied the verse at the very beginning. Now, I don't know which ayah, where was it? Here it is, this one. وآتوا اليتامى أموالهم ولا تتبدلوا الخبيث بالطيب ولا تأكلوا أموالهم إلى أموالكم إنه كان حوبا كبيرا. Now, and give orphans their wealth and don't exchange your worthless properties for their valuables. We said these are very important. Your worthless property, their valuables. Nor cheat them by mixing their wealth with your own, for this would indeed be a great sin. Now, here it is. No. Now, here, where was it? No. Okay, this one I think we are going to study here. Okay. One, now, when we are reading the verse of the Quran, no, what, did I confuse something? I think we did. I did. Now, here. What do we understand from the term el-yatama, orphans, in the context of this verse? Now, let's see this ayah. Again, just straight talking about orphans, two ayats. Just I want to listen to them. No, not this one. Of course, we will pass this. How can I do that? Just a minute, okay. All right, this one. Everybody knows this ayat as well.
كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم.
Okay. What does it mean? No, indeed. It means, no, indeed, means kalla. It means, hey, be careful. It is not the thing that you are, the case is not the reality that you think of. I'll tell you, this means kalla means no. But no doesn't mean rejection. No, be careful. Yeah, be careful. Indeed, you people do not honor orphans in general, but usually understood in another way. Now, another one is here. Again, this needs to be taken away. Sorry, here.
فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر.
This one I am. So let's come here. So don't be harsh with the orphan. Now, let's, but it is essential, Dr. Najati, I am asking you to be patient on behalf of we are going to go through some stages. So, who's speaking in the Quran? Right? We know the creator of the whole universe, which includes your intellect and senses. We have been talking about this. Now, the one who created the universe and your senses, who is the creator of the whole universe, Rabbul Alameen, is speaking. Okay. The other point, by using this given capacity, we become intellectually aware that the orphans need protection. Our senses urge us to protect them. We cannot stop ourselves. No? If we don't protect them, we feel guilty without being taught. They say we are learning from the society. You know that? Adaptation, influence of the environment, families are shaping our feelings. Everybody in the world. How many billion people live in the world right now? The previous ones. Everyone has the same thing. Who's influencing who? We have to be very careful about anthropological interpretation of evolution. Very careful. They are, I would say, wallahi, lying. Lying. We learned to take care of the orphan. The cats learned to care of their kittens from neighbors, from their families. Jinns are recording. Where did they get it? Who is recording, writing these volumes of information? Matter? It's ridiculous. So that is, without thought is important. Automatic. It means we are hardwired with it. But we are given the freedom to choose to obey the voice within us or not. Now, everybody knows that theft is bad, but some of them are still steal. And nowadays, even more official, no formal stealing, theft is going on in the world now. In any case, in any case, we know that we have to protect the orphans, whether God orders or not. We know that. We talked about it a lot. Now, the Quran and the universe are speaking side by side. We are continuing now. The Quran. Now, I'm just reminding that we are going step by step. The Quran explains the reality of the universe. This is important. Explaining the reality of the universe, and universe witnesses the truthfulness. Doesn't explain. Witnesses the truthfulness of the message of the Quran. I think this sentence must always be borne in mind if we want to read the Quran and the universe side by side. That is essential. That's all I can say. I don't have to speak about it because you have to think about it. Write it down. Take notes and think about it. Why one of them explains, the other one witnesses. What does it mean? So, important question that the people are wondering about. Why? What are they? Why does the Quran order us to protect the orphans since we are already informed through the way of we are created? Now, everybody asks this. And some people even claim that I don't need religion. I know how to be a good man. I am a good man helping this. I have a hospital free for the poor ones, for example. Does God speak to us and lets us know nothing more than what the creation is telling us? Yeah? Is the creation enough? The speech, we said, this Quran explains the reality. This explanation of the universe is equal to the universe or extra information that the human beings do not know. That's what we are going, inshallah, into. Then I'm going a bit fast, but I think our participants are carefully following it. They are intellectual people, smart people. They will understand it. If they, for some reason, misses some point, they can go and listen to it from the recordings, inshallah. Is the Quran equals to the universe and does not include knowledge more than what the creation of the universe tells us? Yeah? Why then does the Quran say God teaches you what you don't know? Yeah, it means there is something that we don't know. Some aspect of the creation we don't know. Now, what we don't know. Who is orphan that the Quran talks about? Because I know the human orphan babies. I know about it. Why the Quran emphasizes, yes, Dr. Nejati reminded us the importance of repetition 23 times. Orphan, 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 be careful, be careful. Now, why? Now, the way we are created teaches us to protect the children who don't have father and mother for any reason. That's what we understand. Yeah? If we reduce these verses, 23 words, to only the children who don't have father or mother or both for any reason, we know that there is no extra. Why? Rabbul Alameen, if you like forgive my language, bothers to repeat 23 times in his infinite universal message. Throughout the centuries, throughout the whole world, always this message will be prevailing. Now, but the Quran orders us to protect the orphans by giving this term a universal perspective to understand who or what orphan means. How do we know this? Where did you get this idea? How do we know this? By definition, Quran must be read as a guidance of the Creator who teaches us with the Quran what we don't know. We know the orphan children must be protected by the way we are created. If we read the Quran by asking why God tells me that I am already told in my own creation. It is already there. Why God keeps telling me the same thing? There must be some more aspect of this word orphan. Excuse me. Let me think what or who are the orphans at the universal perspective. There must be something more than that I did it, more than that I didn't know, and my Creator is teaching me what I didn't know in His speech, in the Quran. Now, here we are. What we do understand from ولا تتبدلوا الحبيث بالطيب. Do not exchange your worthless possessions for their orphans' valuable properties. Who are the orphans again? Remember now, not only the children, there must be something else, including the children, babies. Now, their valuables. Now, what are the properties of orphans in creation? Why are your possessions described as khabis, worthless, and their possessions are described as tayyib, valuable? The problem is here. We read the Quran as if another knowledgeable person is speaking and do not bother to ask the Quran what it claims to be to teach us what we don't know. When I read that, uh, for, well, uh, no. Here, كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم. Now, you don't honor orphans. Excuse me, I know already. So don't be harsh with the orphans. Yeah, really, not many people, majority of the people are very kind to orphans. Regardless of belief, by the way. Now, so my hobbies, my worthless things, and their valuables. The problem is here, sorry, why? When God, if somebody tells you, Nejati, Dr. Nejati, you are an economist, Dr. Nejati, what does it mean? You are an economist by profession, but you are doing something not correct according to the, your capacity. Be careful, Nejati. You are an economist, but you are doing something else. Maybe contrary to it. Right? So if we read something in the Quran telling us which is already known, and what is the point? What is the point? So, for example, the baby was in the mother's womb, and this stage. Now, biology knows it. Why are you talking? We have to ask this question in order to see. Remember the beginning. In the beginning, we talked about fiqh rulings. The verses deal with fiqh rulings has two aspects. One is illah, the other one is wisdom. Wisdom side is fiqh side of it, practical rules. Illah side is the Creator is introducing himself to us through these actions. It is not that it is happening as a result of biological evolution. It is me who is doing it. Be careful. Look at the wisdom in it. And this wisdom cannot be explained within the conditions of the capacity of the nature. Matter, dead matter. I am the one who gave life. Quran says, I am the one who is resurrecting the plants. I am the one who is recreating you every moment. Khalqun jadid, khalqun jadid. Now, what's going on? But we know that we are growing. We are changing. Quran says, I am the one who is organizing it. Acknowledge me. You cannot reduce it to matter evolving by itself. Now, the problem is here. Okay, I will stop here. I noticed that the time is up. The problem is here. We read the Quran as if another knowledgeable person is speaking and admiring his knowledge, and don't bother to ask the Quran what it claims to be, to teach us what we don't know. Let's ask now, tomorrow. Unfortunately, time is out. But we will get the juice of it tomorrow. Very interesting. I prepared something for you here. Look at these people. Look at this man, scientist. Interesting conclusions, inshallah, we are going to see.
Okay. Yeah, I think the essential part here is that is, as we covered before, that we need to acknowledge our ignorance first to truly benefit from the wisdom of Quran in a way that would appear to us to be knowledge and understanding. And when Quran speaks of the same thing, is not the same manner, not same message. So yes, the Quran speaks in a way about orphan, about the stage of babies, the creation, but there are always deep message behind that. And most of the time, I think that what we see, what we think that we know is really not the true knowledge. It is in a way that's our misperception, or it is an ideology that injected into our mind. And Quran is all about correcting this. So we have to look at the Quran not as a something just, in a way, repeating what we know. We need to look at every Quranic expression. If it is there, is a way of correcting what we think we know. I think that is the concept of orphan, as we're reflecting on that, it is really the problem, as you mentioned, that we think we know, and then why the Quran will emphasize that much. So then we have to reflect deeply. We run out of the time, but I want to really put you came to that and you asked the question, what or who is orphan? So do you think we had a poll questions? Should we ask now? We're going to reflect tomorrow?
I think at the end of yesterday, the time is really 2 minutes for, and tomorrow, inshallah, we will go and delve really in deep meaning of, and I am studying this one as a case study, how the fiqh related ayat of the Quran should be read. One side is widespread. Everybody knows fiqh rules. The other side is, unfortunately, remained orphan. We have to emphasize on it, and the poll questions are related to that part.
Okay, inshallah, then we can cover tomorrow. So essentially, the concluding message is this. So we need to look at the Quran in a very open-minded manner and see the deep wisdom behind that. And the concept of orphan is one of very eye-opening concept. If we look at it in this way, we find out that Quran is inviting us to see the sign of Creator and experience the attribute of Creator through our deeds, that which we can connect to the Creator. We can be mindful of Creator. That is the primary purpose of the Quran, is to really let us know the Creator and to get us to experience the attribute of Creator, that's a Talimul Asma that we discussed before, which means that everything we do, including our understanding our orphans and the way we help the orphans, should make us to be mindful of the attribute of Creator and feel His presence and connect to Him. And I think, and that's what, when you mentioned that we should read the Quran and the universe side by side, that perhaps we can say that universe includes everything, including the event in our life, that in this case, everything will become full of wisdom and way of knowing and connecting to the Creator. But again, we started yesterday, today's second one, still the orphan ayahs are not completed. We're going to continue on journey tomorrow. I hope you can join us tomorrow to really see what is the deeper meaning and definition of the orphan. Let's just dua, inshallah.
We are not going to study every verse in details, but this is very important as a case study, one example, going the step by step and learn how to read the Quran. I feel that we have knowledge of the Quran. We don't have, in general, I'm not accusing anyone, we don't know how to benefit from the Quran and what method we have to follow. We have to follow the method. We have to have a method in understanding the Quran. This is an example, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. Innaka antal alim al-hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bi hurmati sirri surati al-Fatiha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad.
Okay, shukran. Thank you, everyone, and see you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.